which will be of use to NRIs also. People like Kohli Saab or Bhisham Naranji. Absolutely impeccably honest. Maybe we can go to somebody and Gurinder Singh offers a cup of coffee as we had, and that's all. Nothing else, nothing more. So, point is here, take advantage of this country wherever you think it suits you, but don't throw the good money after the bad money. Thank you, sir, for giving me 5 minutes. I have stuck to 5 minutes only. But I thought I should tell them, you are spread in 207 countries, remember, 2.7 million people all over the country. You may not know each other's language, but you are still Indians. So, take care of each other, but be loyal to the country of your choice. Let them not say that you are still looking towards India. India will always be your country. Last sentence, I had a class fellow, Sikandar Singh. He is no more. He came to India and he stood in the foreigner's line. The custom man said, Sardarji, ki kar rahe ho? Where are you going? Sardar Sahab, where are you going? He says, I am a British passport holder. He says, either how you come this side. Whether you are British passport holder or not, you are Indian, you come this side, we'll clear you. So for us, you will always be Indian. Whether you are outside India or not, you may not consider us, but for us, you will always be Indian and close to our heart. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed, sir, for that wonderful address. And now, ladies and gentlemen, for the open house session, I once again invite Shri Gurinder Singh Ji to kindly take over and moderate this session. Over to you.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for listening so patiently to our speeches. But the main agenda of this conference is not to give speeches to you, but to hear from you. So now I invite you people one by one. You are free to ask whatever you have in your mind, whatever thing which is troubling you, to come into India, to invest. So it's your platform, and take full advantage of it. So the first person whom I'm going to call, you can please come on the dais, on the stage. The first person I'm going to call is Dr. Rashmi Datta Flanders from the University of Kent.
This is very impromptu. And standing in my own country, where I was born, brought up, I'm very emotional. And speaking in English is another experience. And this is where I specialize, and I would like to voice my feelings about it, that India is so accommodating that they have kept the language which was given to us 200 years ago. Pardon me if I have made a mistake of the years of independence we have had. No, it's 60 years, do beg your pardon. We have embraced the language and used the language and made it our own. So it shows us how accommodating we are. Nothing is foreign to us. So that is our signature of being Indians outside our own home country. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to come here and give my views. One concern for me is I'm a mother, and I have got a daughter who is spiritually Indian, but being brought up in a outside India. How would my homeland make effort to keep that bridge and bring that generation back with what they can give and what they can get? The spirit of India, which which is my virtue and which is my pride. I carry it everywhere with me. Nothing can diminish it, no matter shoulder to shoulder I am with Western world working. And I would like to feel that that is there in the generation that is growing up and has had Western culture alongside their upbringing. They can also have alongside the spirit of India, which they can come back. And India, the motherland, makes a conscious effort for them, not just Bollywood, but in other industries like engineering, bank, finance, other sectors, so that there is this bridge alive, the spirit of India alive in generations to come. That's all I've got to say. And thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. And sorry, I feel very emotional.
Thank you, Dr. Rashmi. As I said, you people are free to ask any questions besides voicing what you've been doing, besides voicing what you have achieved in your countries of domain. But if you have any questions, our panel will be too happy to answer. The next, I would like to invite Mr. Ramesh C. Batra. He is from United States. Mr. Batra.
Well, I'm delighted to be here. I graduated from Thapar University, Patiala, Punjab. Punjab came up many times. So my question is, how can we help advance the education in India? I think most of the time people have been they have been asking us or suggesting that we invest financially, like we set up a company or start a business. But how can we help advance the educational system in India? Well, so that's the question, I guess, for Mr.
You have
Kohli
raised a
or
very
somebody
important
else.
question. On the education side,
Yes, sir.
our quality is very, very poor. By numbers, we say there are a lot of engineering colleges, there are a lot of management schools, but employability is very, very less. Unfortunate part is, in India, it became marks-oriented education system. When I finished my college, I could walk into any top university of this country just based on a good first class. Today's children, they can't do that. They need 90% plus. And getting marks means eat, and vomit in the examination. What have you digested? Nobody knows. What have you imbibed in your character, what you have imbibed in your personality is lacking. This is one area. Second, here we were degree oriented because the government jobs were available as you progressed through college. Now government has dried out completely. There's overemployment in the government. And it was Babugiri mostly. Technical skills, very few. Even our technical training institutes also are left much to be desired. Because in India, a teacher, when he got a job in the government, he felt his security of job is there and he cannot be removed. The result was, there are instances where people never upgraded themselves over a period of time. If teachers don't grow, how can you expect them to bring a growth model for the children? So skill development is one area where the government is stressing a lot. Last government also, this government also. This is an area where skill development, as rightly put it by Rashmi, English, we are English knowing people. And that's where we stand at advantage with any other country in the globe. Where if you go for export of manpower, by bringing quality education in India, it has enormous future. You can certainly, I can certainly sit with you specifically how to go about it. But this is the area which needs maximum attention. Let me tell you very frankly, average Indian, ordinary Indian, he is honest also. He is keen to learn, but they need direction. Over a period of time, by following others, they become directionless. They don't have their independent mind. That's where the challenge is before us, and we have to meet it. Any counter questions? Mr. Batra? We can bring your collaboration with Indian partners who are interested in the part. Pardon?
Not many people, not many of my colleagues are interested in changing the system.
No. System cannot be changed so easily as you rightly said it. The new system can be evolved the way you want it. That's more important. It has to be a new institution. If you go into existing institution, you will have all problems. That's the old saying. You must have heard in Punjab. So bad habits, they die hard. So you have to create a new system.
And Dr. Batra, very soon the FDI in education sector is going to be open. The bill is likely to be passed very soon. And then we hope to see universities like Harvard and Oxford coming into India. So we certainly see we have a lot of future in education in India. And the people abroad, they see it very well. So maybe in a couple of years, you will see a massive development in this sector. I would like to call Ms. Vaishali Shah. She's the chairperson of Shri Vedant Foundation from Kenya.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's really my pleasure and pride to be part of this forum wherein we are vocal about our ideas and thoughts and how to collaborate with our motherland. I am coming from Kenya. It's a country where the businesses are owned by Indians, most of it. The whole industry, which is purely, controlled by the Indian, especially Gujaratis and Punjabis, they run the country virtually. The reason I got into the public life in Kenya was the first need I found is that we are not able to connect with our culture. Though we live in another country and we have been brought up in our ways, but then I realized that we are getting disconnected. And that is how I founded Shri Vedant Foundation, wherein we launched, wherein we are trying to impart the knowledge of Indian culture, heritage, and, our scriptural-based knowledge. Now, since we are talking about education system, I really feel that as Indian scriptures, we have so much to share. I'm surprised that in this forum, people are not talking about it. But then our ancient sciences, rishis and all, they were much ahead of whatever universities you are talking about, Harvard or Stanford or anything. Whatever they are learning in Indian, in modern sciences, we have discovered maybe thousands and thousands years back. And that is what I would like to bring it on the front. And that's the reason I thought of having this website and a foundation. And soon we are going to introduce online courses on Indian culture and heritage, wherein our idea is to educate our Indian community world over about how to actually live Indian culture ourselves, because that's what I thought, that it is not happening and somehow we are getting disconnected. And I would like to request this to our forum, that please consider having a kind of education system which is more value-based and not skill-based, because we are graduates and we are engineers and doctors and everything, but we are not good human beings, and we are not culture as in Indian cultured human beings, and that is which is missing. And that is where I would like you to mention that please consider having Vedic universities, teaching all the Indian art, Indian culture. We have so much to talk about, and I request the forum to look into it. And also, I would like to collaborate with the forum, if possible, wherein I can put forward my research and the courses and everything which I have designed for NRI communities. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Vaishali. We had an education system which was given by Macaulay long back. The system was clearly designed to produce babus for the British Empire. And we have stuck on to that. I fully agree with you when you mentioned that. But again, when you talk about Indian, today Indian means everybody inclusive. This culture got merged with Islamic culture also. They came, we had absorbed them. When you talk about Indian culture, it's a mix of many, many cultures. First of all, I like to define culture very clearly for the benefit of all. Every one of us lives for himself or herself. This we call Prakriti. It is something natural. You will breathe for yourself to survive. You will drink water for yourself. You will eat food for yourself. You can't do on my behalf. This is a natural human process. There are in this world few people who snatch from others and make their lives more rich at the cost of others. This is called Vikriti. They create distortion. These are the people who had the ability to snatch, and they had brute force power to guide them, and they did it. It's today also existing. But then there are a few more who are maybe small. By virtue of their efforts, by the spirit of sacrifice, they make others' lives more meaningful and make it better. This is called Sanskriti. That is what the culture is, human culture. I fully endorse. This is what we have to imbibe once again. And I will certainly endorse what you have said, Vaishali. This has to be a part of our education system again. Without any part, Vedanta and all that, because we have a society where freedom of speech is so much, people misconstrue also. I have been researching into education. I started my career as a teacher. And I have been involved in education for the last 53 years. We have zeroed on to the definition of education, which is acceptable to everybody. Education has two components. One is training people to do something in life. Training has again three components. First is to give knowledge. Knowledge means what to do and why to do. What to do is the objective. Why is the reasoning? Because we can't go blindly if we are knowledgeable people. But something has to be done. Then skills, how to do. Performance. And the last part where we never had in education system, developing a positive mental attitude, which means willingness to do. Our people often says, why should I do? What's the need of mine? Somebody else should do. Negative attitude. India has been obsessed with negative attitude at every platform. There has been nothing of that kind in the education system. Probably you'll find it will be introduced in a year or two. Then there is a growth of the field. Development of the person as a person. If you are talking about education, the person must develop over a period of time. And there are 4 developments which are needed, as you rightly pointed out. First is IQ, intelligence quotient. You can be given knowledge, you can be given skills, you can be given positive attitude also, but you have to be a wise person. And the world recognizes those people as wise who succeed in life. The more you succeed, the wiser you are. Nobody appreciates failed people. This is called increase of IQ, intelligence quotient. Then increase of PQ, physical quotient. Sound mind in a sound body. Physical fitness is very important. In our education system, there are no school playgrounds. They are cocooned in the rooms. Physical fitness is very important. It was a shame till 5 years back We could not win even an Olympic gold medal in the history. But now things have started happening in this country of late. Sports is becoming very popular amongst the youth.
Investments in India, which is where Kotak Mahindra Bank or any banking or financial sector doesn't really provide any advisory services. These are private investments if you talk about FDIs. There are funds such as Sequoia, Iverstone, Helion, which have been investing in the
Thank you so much. Hello, can you hear me? So I told them if the Supreme Court judges have not learned anything from my books, they're not it's not worth it writing a book. So the Indians can write about it. But my question was, when are the FDI policies for e-retailing going to be implemented in India? Because many say that they are archaic, because the other countries don't have such a thing. And another thing is a few... Hello, can you... Yes, I think you can hear me. Okay. Another thing I wanted to bring up is a few years ago, my husband, at the start of the millennium, my husband told me, let's move to India. And I said, no, I want to continue living in the US. And so I said, because there is so much corruption in India. And he said, you think there is no corruption in the US? I said, yes, but not to that extent. And so he said, if you continue living in the US, you will be treated as a second-class citizen. And I told him, what difference does it make if I'm a second-class citizen in the US or I'm a second-class citizen in India as a woman? So I would like to see some progress made for women. I know in the last few years they have made quite a bit of progress, but I'd like to see safety issues addressed for women and children. I'm associated with a lot of women's rights groups on Facebook, and so people all over the world, the women have heard about me, the women's rights organizations, and they have been reading my book. So when the Nirbhaya Delhi gang rape case occurred, I had mentioned it on my Facebook, and then at that point, I told all the women not to go to India for their own safety. I know tourism is down by 30%, but if they improve the safety for women, then that will dramatically improve. The tourism will improve. Also, I would be the first person to publicize it all over the world. Thank you.
Ma'am, I don't think there is much problem in getting into publishing business in India. In fact, I have a Chinese friend of mine, he's sitting here on my left on this table. He's also from a publishing house. There are a huge amount of organizations like Penguin. Penguin has a huge setup in India. Penguin, Oxford Books, Collins, there are Rupak. There are a whole lot of publishers willing to collaborate with you depending on what kind of story you would want to sell. And I think we are one of the most free-thinking countries anywhere in the world. I think if one can't publish his work in India, I don't think you can publish it elsewhere. I think our media, our social media, I don't think there is any kind of control anywhere. And it is sad about that gang rape that took place, and I think it was very sad chapter of Delhi's administrative setup, but then it could happen elsewhere too. It happened in many countries of the world. And we have experienced many of these things while traveling abroad also. So I'm sure you could collaborate with some of these big names, and depending on the kind of script that you have, depending on the kind of proposal you have. And I know people coming from, in fact, I've met Russian publishing company people a few days ago. They were planning to do some story here in India, and I think they are already on the subject, and you could possibly do that.
Mr. Deepak Singh Sani, co-founder, Sale and Best.
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I hope you're enjoying the weather out here. There's a nip in the air, but trust me, it's better than the heat we get in May and June. So enjoy the weather where it lasts. I want to thank firstly Nitin from Kotak, and he pointed out something which I wanted to highlight about, that was e-commerce. It is a matter of coincidence that Mr. Deepak Singh and I met at a party about 2 weeks back, and we spoke about something which prompted him to invite me for this area and talk about it. It's another coincidence that we share the same first name. My name is Deepak Singh Sani. I'm the co-founder of Sale and Best. This is an e-commerce website which is planned to be online by July of this year. And we had some discussions around e-commerce and why I think e-commerce is the next generation, the decade belongs to e-commerce. So before I talk about e-commerce, let me give you a background. What is e-commerce and what is m-commerce? E-commerce is the business of retail done by internet. This could be sales on commodities, services, lifestyle, etc. And the same thing while done on mobile is called m-commerce. So majorly, this is the business over the internet. And like any other business, this has also gone through its life cycle. I'll also talk about the bubble burst which Nitin spoke about. But I'll give you some facts and numbers which are not from me, which are from leading magazines and newspapers. So like the last 2 decades belong to IT and IT-enabled services, even e-commerce has gone to 3 generations. Now there's an article which came on January 19th on the Mint, which says that e-commerce went to 3 gens. Gen 1 was 1999 to 2007, where this was the hype of the West and it was hype of India. From 2007 to 2015, this was the hype of the West and hope of India. And 2015 to 2023 is Gen 3, where it is the hope of India. So we're living right now where e-commerce is the next biggest platform for India as well. And why e-commerce? Some extracts from leading newspapers once again. Our current user base on the internet is 354 million. Our current user base for mobile internet, that means people who use the internet through their mobiles, is 213 million. We're the second largest nation which has so much of capacity and approach to mobility. Our mobile internet users are projected to increase to about 440 to 550 million by 2018. Our rural internet will move from 60 million to 280 million by 2018. Some more information. 54% user base will increase in the age group of 25 years. These are the maximum buyers, and we are a young population. 50% user base will increase in rural India. That means Right now, what e-commerce is to only the charismatic states will also be available to tier 2, tier 3 cities in India. 80% of user base in women will increase who use the internet. So logically, it does seem that e-commerce, m-commerce will be the next big thing. And logically, it also is very agreeable by all that the customer base is going to increase versus the offline stores which are there right now existing in the primitive way of doing business. There's going to be lower infrastructure cost through e-commerce because the only investment what you make is on technology. Rest all remains the same versus a high setup cost for any kind of business where people have to invest in offices, in manpower, in many other things which is required to run a business. It is convenient and approachability is high in e-commerce. And the lady from Atlanta just spoke about her book. This is the platform where you can directly get in touch with the end users as well, and nobody in between. Some more reasons which are news in the past few months. The government has announced smart city policies. Prime Minister Modi spoke about startups, and the Prime Minister Modi also spoke about reasonable investment which the government is ready to make if you have an idea, if you have a startup. And the 4G setup, which has been initiated by many big companies, they're going to tier 2, tier 3 cities. They're not targeting only the metropolitan cities because they're already there. We have 4G in metropolitan cities, but we do not have in tier 2, tier 3 cities. So good things about e-commerce are very reasonable, very logical, but there also is a flip side to e-commerce, which I thought I'll share with you. And I'll give you by an example, and this is a live example. About 2 months back, I was in my house, and somebody came to deliver some package to my neighbor. You know, it looked like the primitive Pizza Hut guy with the same scooter with the bag at the back. And he wasn't delivering pizzas, he was delivering groceries. Because there was an e-commerce website which was in the business of delivering groceries. And I was intrigued because the different color, and I wanted to know what company is this. So I spoke to the person and said, do you mind me asking you, what is the size of your order? What is the total size you're delivering? He says 100 rupees. So you're delivering one bottle of Coke and a few groceries for just rupees 100? And there's a question in my mind right now, I'm sure it's in your mind too, how do they make profit? If the infrastructure cost to deliver such items is more than rupees 100, the manpower, the delivery van, and the margins, then how are they making money? Probably they're not. I'll give you some statistics behind it. And this is a statistic which was printed in one of the leading newspapers. I'm going to share this with you. This company had 500 deliveries per day. When they made 500 deliveries per day, and if the basket size for each order is rupees 1,000 rupees, they probably lose out for minus 112 rupees per order. That means they have their margin, their warehouse cost, the delivery van cost, the delivery manpower cost is inside. So they will lose out for delivering 500 deliveries a day if the average cost of the basket was 1,000 rupees. If they would deliver 1,000 rupees a day, and with a basket size of 1,400 rupees, that means you shop for 1,400 rupees, you will then gain, as a company, 18 rupees per order. And if you were to deliver 2,000 deliveries a day, average basket size 1,500, then you make 118 rupees per order. These are live statistics, these were on the papers. Eventually this company shut down. But what happened? People who invested millions in this company was growing in leaps and bounds in tier 2, tier 3 cities. Did they forget to do their maths? No. These companies were built to be sold. They were never there for e-commerce business. This company eventually shut down, and I'm aware of another very big giant right now who's in the retail business. I shop from them every day. They haven't even broken even yet. They probably will break even in the next 3 years, and then they'll make profits. So this is a flip side of e-commerce as well, but not discouraging enough with the scope which we have. Right now, there is a huge opportunity in India for e-commerce and m-commerce. And there are opportunities in the areas which even we as a company, salesandbest.com, have started on a journey. We are here not to sell. We are here to build with marginal growth. We are here to meet the manufacturers, meet the end consumers. Do you know that every product which gets sold is already sold 2 to 3 times, and they change hands before it gets to you, so it gets the higher price? Nobody right now is connecting the manufacturers, the made in Indias, to the end users. And that's what is a big opportunity in India, and that's the trending journey we are on. We're also into organizing scattered markets together and build them as an industry. Right now, there are markets which are in spurts. They know what e-commerce is. They want to do e-commerce, but alone they can't do much. They have to have huge investments. They have to have collective power and use media as an option to promote their products. Now, we are here to do this, and that's what we plan to do in the next 6 months. So I wanted to open this forum and give you an idea more in detail. And if you're interested, please do get in touch with us. I am Deepak, and I along with have Rohit Madhavan and Mr. Khan. Rohit and I are from a leading multinational bank, which is amongst the world's top leader. I run cybersecurity operations for 20 years, and he's amongst the global market business of the same bank. With me, I also have Mr. Khan. Mr. Khan is from the same industry, and he is into the technology aspect of it and gives us rich experience in our company. But if you have queries, and if you have thoughts about e-commerce, m-commerce, and you want to know more about this, please do get in touch with us. We'll be happy to share our thoughts with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Deepak. Very informative. And certainly people will get in touch with you to get more enlightened. Dr. Ruchika Sachdev from New Zealand.
Dignitaries, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Dr. Ruchika Sachdev. I'm here from New Zealand. I'm a dentist practicing in New Zealand, Christchurch. I'm really honored with this award that's being presented by the Government of India and the NRI Welfare Society. And I thank you all for giving me this honor. It's amazing with getting this recognition, particularly for dentists in this field. Well, I really think that giving such a recognition gives us an opportunity to work harder for our country, and also makes us proud that we've been recognized by India, for this prestigious award. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ruchika. Our society, by honoring people like you, is honoring itself. You people have done remarkably well outside, and you must know this. The next, I would like to invite Dr. Ramesh Sitaraman. He's a professor of computer science, University of Massachusetts.